Well, there everyone. Hello. Right. I just wanted to go over something different. Going down my neck of the woods culturally. And it's something I just found on a page called whynow.uk, and is the question is UK society anti-Pagan? The Future of Polytheism in Britain. Written by Tom Rowsell. Now, this dude is excellent. This guy's brilliant. He is the guy that does the YouTube channel Survive the Jive. If you're looking into pagan practices, pagan beliefs in the way that they would have been done from a historical point of view, from another pagan, Tom Rowsell is your dude. Again, Survive the Jive. Check it out. Excellent dude. Anyway, historian, and he's a historian. Tom Rowsell examines how ancient prejudices against traditional polytheistic religions still result in exclusion from powerful institutions which claim to promote diversity and interfaith dialogue. Yeah. Now, from my own position, I've been trying to have, whenever I've had to put down on legal documents that they ask me what ethnicity and religion I am. I put that my ethnicity is that of Anglo-Saxon, Celtic, and Nordic. That's the major part of my genetic makeup. And my religion is. Oh, hang on. Hello, girlie. What are you up to? What are you up to? Oh, is that right? You want a cucumber? Yeah, I've been trying to get. See, the type of paganism that I am it's inspired by the Celtic, and that's Brythonic and Gaulish, the Saxon and the Celtic, but I'm also inspired by science largely, and history, actual history, not written history, and so when it comes to this guy, they ask, what's that then? What do you believe in then? Well, my God is the elements, but I pay homage to the ancestors in the similar style as what the Anglo-Saxons did. Um, you know, I use a staff which has pagan markings on it, and I'm consistently asked, well, what's that for? Well, it's to help me stand, and it's a symbol of my faith, so to speak. A symbol of my belief system, so to speak. And I still get. Hello, what are you doing? Tickly belly, tickly belly, tickly belly. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, God, sorry, interruption. Been a while. Hello, Freya, what are you doing? Oh, what's that? What's that? Yes, I know. What's that? Yes. What's that? Yes. Okay. Ooh. What's that? This is Freya, if you haven't met her before. Okay. Got it. So, yeah. And I will still get abuse in the streets by Christians and Muslims, and have done. Now, I consider personally conversion, people trying to convert me, as an aggressive move. Whether you think that or not, that's up to you. But me personally, I believe it to be aggressive, passive aggressive at worst. And I will not accept it. I tell people I'm pagan, and then especially down here, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you believe in that?" It's because I don't want to believe in that. Not only that, but I wasn't brought up to believe in Christianity or any other Abrahamic belief. This is not the way I was brought up. And the pagans in this country is the fastest cultural population growing in this country. And it has been over the last decade. So anyway, back to what Mr. Rowsell, or Professor Rowsell, has to say. It is estimated there are now over 250,000 pagans in the UK, in addition to a similar number of Hindus who, like pagans, worship many gods. This summer, the latest census results are due to be published, and it is expected there will be a significantly greater number of pagans than any previous year. The growth of pagan religions in the UK over the 20th and 21st centuries has been accompanied by an overall decline in religiosity and the growing tolerance of religious diversity. Bang on, Tom. The Witchcraft Act of 1735 was repealed in 1951, and common law offences relating to blasphemy were abolished in England and Wales in 2008. Right, so just for reference here, we're going to have a look at those laws. So, first one is Witchcraft Act 1735. The Witchcraft Act of 1735 was an Act of Parliament of the Kingdom of Great Britain in 1735, which made it a crime for a person to claim that any human being had magical powers or was guilty of practicing witchcraft. With this, the law abolished the hunting and executions of witches in Britain. Okay, right. The maximum penalty set out by the Act was a year's imprisonment. Lovely. So the long title of this is an Act to repeal the statute made in the first year of the reign of King James I, intituled, I can't say that word. Entitled, I don't know, an act against conjuration, witchcraft, and dealing with evil and wicked spirits, except so much thereof as repeals an act of the 5th year as the reign of Queen Elizabeth, against conjurations, What do you want? Oh, you want a drink? And witchcrafts, and to repeal an act passed in the Parliament of Scotland in the 9th Parliament of Queen Mary, intituled Anentis Witchcrafts, and for punishing such persons as to pretend to exercise or use any kind of witchcraft, sorcery, enchantment, or conjuration. Citation 9go.2c.5. Introduced by John Conduit, Sir John Cross, and George Heathcote. So, it thus marks the end point with the witch trials in early modern period for Great Britain, and the beginning of the modern legal history of witchcraft, repealing earlier witchcraft acts which were originally based around an intolerance towards practitioners of magic, but became mired in contested Christian doctrine and superstitious witch phobia. Instead of assuming, as the earlier laws did, that witches were real and had real magic power derived from pacts with Satan, the new law assumed that there were no real witches, no one had real magic power, and those claiming such powers were cheaters extorting money from gullible people. The law was reverting to the view of the primitive and medieval church, expressed from at least the 8th century, at the Council of Paderborn, but contested by witch-phobic Dominican inquisitors beginning in the mid-15th century. with some success in forwarding a new doctrine amongst the popes, as seen in the papal bull Summis Desiderantes Affectibus. Summis Desiderantes Affectibus, 1484, but with far less success amongst the bishops. Thus, the Act of 1735 reflected the general trend in Europe, where after a peak around 1600, a series of outbursts in the late 17th century, witch trials quickly subsided after 1700. The last person executed for witchcraft in Great Britain was Janet Horne in 1727. So that what? Okay, so the important thing to this one is in 1951, the Witchcraft Act 1735 was repealed with the enactment of Fraudulent Mediums Act 1951, largely at the instigation of spiritualists through the agency of Thomas Brooks. So yeah. Anyway, and the other one was common law offences. So yeah. Common law offences. Relating to blasphemy were abolished in England and Wales in 2008 and Scotland as recently as 2021. See, I like Scotland, but they took to Christianity way too quickly. In light of these developments, it would seem paganism is now just another faith amongst the... What are you doing? Oh, now the other one's out. Great. What are you doing, little lady? Hello, my lady Sif. What's my lady Sif doing? Nothing. Leave me alone. In light of these developments, it would seem paganism is now just another faith among the diverse religions practiced in modern Britain. But closer analysis reveals that ancient prejudices against traditional polytheistic religions still result in exclusionary language and policies from powerful institutions, even those which claim to promote diversity and interfaith dialogue. Which is perfectly true. It does my fucking head in. I tried to bring in the subject into public discourse several times across different YouTube channels, and everyone ignores me because that's the prejudice. That's the cultural prejudice. No one wants to be interested because they see it as a joke. Then why don't you see every other religion as a joke then? Transnational organisations like United Nations present themselves as representing the values of a global humanity, yet that organisation was founded by Westerners on a specific set of uniquely Western and therefore Christian values which they are attempting to impose on the world. Whilst they condemn the old colonial European powers, they are in fact the natural continuation of them. The ancient Indian custom of sati, a ritual suicide of widows, appalled European colonists, so it was banned by the French, Dutch, Portuguese and British administrators who viewed it through a Christian moral lens. This is hardly different from the UN crusades against other religious customs which are unpalatable to Western tastes, including my own, his own, and my own, such as female circumcision and child marriage. Again, like, he doesn't agree with it, and I don't agree with it, but still, that doesn't mean that we should go over there and ban it because we don't like it. It's not our country. The British government generally conforms to the same values as the UN, so we can see the notion of religious freedom is applied selectively both here and abroad. The author our dude, has demonstrated in his book Dominion how the values of the modern West, even when it professes atheism and humanism, are rooted in Christianity. Again, like in many different parts of the way our society works now, I point out how Christianity is still trying to pull the strings, and I'm trying to tell people enough is enough. Time for a change. The idea of a global humanity exists in the Bible with the myth of the common ancestors of Adam and Eve. The metaphorical description of time as a kind of space through which one progresses becomes possible only with the invention of linear history and the year zero of Christ's birth. Among traditional religious groups such as Hindus and European pagans, time is regarded as cyclical. So for them, it is merely an abstract of. It's merely an abstract to speak of progress. Yet unshakable faith in progress is the defining belief system of the modern West and global powers in general. This faith, looking ever forward to salvation in a future governed by reason and furnished with the marvels of technological innovation, has inevitably become affiliated with the rather flimsy but popular philosophy of transhumanism. Transhumanism has recently been promoted by the UN-affiliated World Economic Forum and UN-promoted author Yuval Noah Harari. This is nothing new for the UN, though. Way back in 1957, I knew the 57 date had something to do here. The first director of UNESCO, Julian Huxley, expressed his desire to reject old superstitions and make way for a new belief called transhumanism. Its adherents assert that mankind is limited and these limitations need to be overcome through technology, just as Christ was said to have conquered death. Some transhumanists see death as undesirable and unnecessary, which is ridiculous. An obstacle to be overcome through technology. I hate it. I have no problem with technology, to a point. But this transhumanism shit, I think they went a little. They delved into a bit on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm pretty sure it was season 4 with the framework. No, it was before that. It was season 3 when fucking Hive had to go and get him. Yeah, that was it. Anyway, the early Christian Gnostics. Yet unlike Christians, they do not believe in an immaterial, transcendent realm or God. The early Christian Gnostics asserted that this natural world is evil and we must instead seek unification with God in the next world, which is, again, as far as I'm concerned, that's stupid. Similarly, many transhumanists anticipate the emergence of a super artificial intelligence which shall surpass man, an event called technological singularity, and that man may unify with this post-human intelligence in a man-made realm of pure data, the materialist heaven. It's just what? I don't see the good in that. Feminist author Mary Harrington has coined the term fully automated luxury Gnosticism to describe the goals of of certain very online technophiles with an aversion to the natural world. This messianical anticipation is also connected to the idea that the post-human alleged next stage of non-biological human evolution progress. See, look, whilst I am pagan, European pagan, British pagan, my view of time is that from a scientific point of view, not a Christian point of view, from a scientific point of view. And science has different views of time. Now, to give you a weird little image, it's like, for me, you've got the basic sets of time. You have time down at the quantum level. You have time at our level, which comes in the cyclical nature, but it's not just a cycle, it's a loop that has breaks in it like a cycle, but then it's like it's still going. And then the macro time, so universal time. See, and this is just this to me is, it doesn't matter which background you're from, you cannot deny natural evolution is a thing. You can't. Well, you can, but if you do, you're stupid. Evolution happens. Every time paganism re-emerges, it is somewhat different to what it was before. Yes, we must conserve at least some of our old ways, but we must be able to look forward as well, because then we become blind. And not blind, and blind unnecessarily, not in the sense of blinding himself for wisdom. That's not, it won't be blinding yourself for wisdom. It'd be blinding yourself to stick your head in the sand. Yeah. There's a balance to these things. Anyway. Again, this messianical anticipation is also connected to the idea of the alleged next stage of non-biological evolution. This is no fringe cult. It is a hugely influential belief system promoted by the most powerful organisations on Earth, as well as by many individuals like Elon Musk. What a shock. It is poised to become a global religion, a desirable outcome according to UN Assistant Secretary General Robert Mueller, the philosopher of the United Nations, who said the world's religions must globalize themselves so they can give birth to the first global, cosmic and universal civilization. No. Right. No problem with globalization again, to a point. When it comes to globalization, when it comes to global communication, improving that, fantastic. Improving global relations, great. But don't try to homogenize everyone to a single people. That is how you end up with an evolutionary dead end. You dickhead. Dickheads. Not Rowsell, but the dickheads. Yeah? Robert Mueller is a fucking idiot. These transhumans are idiots. What you're doing is ending evolution. It's not you're not looking for the next part of our evolution. You're looking to homogenize and send us down a dead end. Morons. Pagan thinkers like Neo-Platonist Iamblichus rejected Gnostic beliefs entirely, instead asserting that the material world is divine, existing within the divine. Most modern pagans also regard the natural world as holy. Hinduism and European forms of paganism revere death. Yes. Some believe that in death you unite with the ancestors. Yes. Others that you purified in the underworld so that you can be reincarnated. That's another one. Death is itself defined as various gods of the underworld like Hel, Hades, and Yama. It is, and as it says in the Atharva Veda, praise to that Yama, praise to death. Whether you seek freedom from samsara or rebirth as a descendant or unification with the divine, death is essential and desirable. Yes. I'm pretty sure I watched Rowsell do a lecture, and he used some of these words exactly in his lecture, which is up on YouTube if you want to follow. If I can find it, I will put it up. As a link. I don't want to step on your toes, Tom. Like, this is your thing. I'm doing a. I'm agreeing with you for the most part. So yeah. Another part of what defines pagan religions is their regional and temporal character. Gods are worshipped because they are the gods of our ancestors, and rites are observed in sympathy with the cycles of the natural world. Yeah, see, the reason why I'm slightly different is because my gods are the elements, and that in of itself is representing the natural world. You know, my whole thing is an oak tree, the English oak. It's just, the whole thing is life and death, because you know, if you grow up being obsessed with paleontology like I was, you become obsessed with both life and death. You see death and life as being necessary, which is why I believe that someone who is scientifically minded with a paleontological and evolutionary evolutionary science background can get on with pagans and can possibly be pagan, because that idea is compatible. We cannot decouple paganism from the natural world, nor can pagans be integrated into a global religion without ceasing to be pagan, since they are defined by their regional and ethnic character. Yeah, but it still evolves, dude. So pagans are justifiably concerned about the rhetoric echoing from the halls of power which marginalises them, yes, whilst claiming to represent them. That's why we are coming together in London on the 25th of June. Oh, I really wanted to go to this, by the way, but I don't make journeys like that in the summer. I can't do that. I'm a winter child, unfortunately. So, yeah. Oh, hello, lady. Yeah, I apologise, Tom. I really wanted to go to that. The speakers are myself. The speakers were Tom Rowsell, a practicing pagan of 13 years, known for his YouTube channel, and Dr. Boya Villayonga, I think. Also a pagan scholar of history and religion, previously at Columbia University, New York University, and the University of Newcastle. Yeah. So, yeah, the points he makes there are perfectly valid. You know, in this country, Christian marriages are the only ones who are actually legal. In England or Wales, if you try to go handfast marriage, if you want that to be fully legal in the eyes of the law, you still gotta get a fucking representative. Whereas with Christianity, you can get the church to do it. Now, apparently, these things are looking to be made less strict, but I don't see why we can't just be fully recognised alongside everyone else. Not only that, but Christians, are they even the majority in this country anymore? as you know, I don't know. It drives me mad, and I'd love to have a chat with Tom. You know, like I said, I mean, do I pay homage to the gods of my ancestors? Yes, I do. Do I pay homage to my ancestors in other ways? Yes, I do. You know, but again, the way personally, and this is my only personal belief, is that instead of just a cycle, just a single line going round and round, I believe that there's a 3D aspect to that. So it's more like a spiral with breaks in it. For that loop, for that break in the cycle, the loop, for death. Which means that reincarnation is also compatible with this. Because in those breaks in that spiral, you go to another part, and then you come with that's within, and you know, whether it's a purification or a resting period, as what I believe. You know, a time for the soul to rest, the spirit to rest, and then to come back anew. And then it just carries, because otherwise we're kind of denying the scientific fact of the progression of time. Like linear time, like I said, it's cyclical. It's cyclical and linear at the same. It's more like a loop. You know, a spiral. So yeah, I'd love to have a chat. There's much I've learned a lot just from him. Now, being from the southwest as well, living in Torbay, being from Exeter, there's so many places around these areas. They're ancient and holy. Now, I cannot stand it when I'm walking past where an old tree is being cut down, not because it's got rot, but because it's inconvenient. Well, there's a part of them. There's your materialist fucking bullshit. Fucking drives me mad, and it doesn't make me a tree hugger. That just makes me appreciative of life. You know, my girls. Yeah, they're not locked up in cages for that reason. There are cages, but none of them are shut. None of them can be locked. There are holes in all of them. This massive fucker behind me, you couldn't barely even call a cage at this point. It's just a structure, right? I live with my animals. They're not just my pets, they're my familiars. We need to legitimize ourselves in public discourse. I want to have a talk with someone who is more influential in public discourse about bringing pagans and paganism into public discourse, so that there is a balance to the conversation. Because, as Tom said, you know, the transhumanist bullshit is becoming huge. It's massive. But we're not tiny ourselves. And we're not going to go away. So, we should be included in the national conversations. I'd love to have just a debate or a chat with someone about this. Fair, but you know, I get that not everyone's going to agree with me, and I get that some people are going to agree with me, but that's the whole point. We're not going to get anywhere without a discussion. So do please help me. Get back to me if you can. It doesn't matter who you are. If you watch this, please get back to me. You know, I'd like to see what pagans think of a lot of what's going on in politics. You know, from a from a pagan point of view. Now, I'm a socialist, so I believe in progress, but I don't believe. See, I'm also not an absolutist either. So I don't believe in homogenization in the sense of that transhumanists seem to want, in the way that the UN seems to want. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Again, from a scientific point of view, as far as I'm concerned, you're not. Well, what you're looking to do is push humanity towards a genetic and evolutionary dead end by trying to homogenize us culturally and eventually genetically. Where's the diversity going to come in? How will we evolve? I'll tell you how they want us to evolve. They want to force it. Trying to force our evolution, trying to choose how we will evolve. Taking our connection from the spiritual world away from us. So yeah, Tom, I'm fully on board with you on this one. I want to have a discussion with others about bringing pagans into international discourse, into public discourse. I hope this has been useful to people. Again, I hope people will answer and come on and offer to have a chat online with me and I'd love to have a recorded chat on YouTube. That'd be great. But like I said, it's all about discourse. It's all about discussion. Yeah. So, bless the Thursday, everyone. This has been Shiara Wita, and this has been my dog Specky. I hope everyone has a good day.